Mary, my first question is, what makes the rocks red?
That's a great question, Ian. Actually, a lot of our visitors have had that same question. When it comes to the fountain formation, which is our main red rocks here at Roxborough, the answer to why they're red, it comes down to what the rocks are made out of. The rocks are, if we take a closer look, they're made out of mainly big pebbles of feldspar, and feldspar is a pinkish crystalline rock. They're also cemented together by iron oxides, and iron oxide is also known as rust. And what color is rust?
Red.
So that's what makes the rocks red. If you have a combination of rust and feldspar, which is a pink crystal, you end up with red rocks.
Mary, what kind of rocks can you find in Roxborough?
Well, Roxborough is a great place to look for rocks because there's three main types of rocks: igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. And you can find all three types of rocks at Roxborough State Park. In fact, we're kneeling over sedimentary rock right now. And at Roxborough, sedimentary rock is pretty easy to recognize. If you look right here very close at the fountain formation, you'll see when you look at it closely that it's made up of a lot of little tiny pebbles. And in fact, if you brush at it a little bit with your hand, some of those pebbles will actually come off the rock. And the neat thing about sedimentary rock is that if you take a bunch of pebbles and you pile them up into a huge pile, in the case of the fountain formation, in some places 2,000 feet thick, and you put it under a lot of pressure, do you know what happens to those pebbles?
They turn into one rock?
They do. They become solid rock. They cement together. And that's what happened to the fountain formation. So what we see today are a lot of little tiny pebbles that are sort of loosely cemented together, which makes sedimentary rock.
How do these rocks get all piled up in one spot?
That's a great question, Ian. And to answer that question, you're going to have to use your imagination a little bit. You're going to have to go back about 300 million years in time when these Rocky Mountains were not here, and old Rocky Mountains, called the ancestral Rocky Mountains, were actually back to the west of us. And when you take a rock or a mountain and you expose it to sun and wind and rain and lightning, do you know what happens to it?
It disintegrates.
Yeah, it disintegrates, or geologists like to use the term erode. So the rock breaks down into little tiny chunks. And if it breaks down into little tiny chunks, then water carries it down the side of the mountain. And as soon as the water slows down at the base of the mountain, it dumps the little pebbles off, leaving a huge pile of pebbles at the bottom of the hill. So basically, we're sitting on a big pile of ground up old Rocky Mountains.
So this was a stream?
Absolutely. You're sitting where a stream once was.